guys, so before continuing with our build series, I decided to do a budget and a planning video because I think it's very important to understand what are you going into and how much it costs. So in the beginning, I think for a lot of us, you just start watching some YouTuber or Instagram or something else in a social media, and you have this huge pile of expectations what you would like to accomplish with your van life series. So it's very important to take this apart from reality because when you start to understand what you really need, at this point the budget starts to get shape. And I think the first step is to actually understand what you really need and what are your goal of building a van. In our case, it was a full-time living and working inside the van. We love cooking, comfortable sleeping place, space for work, and we like to sit comfortably. And all of these things considered, we started to build our van. So I think first question you need to ask for yourself, what purpose is going to serve this van? Is it just weekend journeys or is full-time living? Because it's a huge difference between those. Also taking into consideration, are you going to live there full seasons, in the winter time, in the summertime? What is your winter and what is your summer? Because it also makes a huge difference while building it. If it's going to be a lot of degrees below zero, all of your plumbing may freeze, and if you're just doing the van for the weekend journeys, you don't need a shower or a toilet or a cooking going to be really much different comparing to full-time living there. Also, if you're living there and you're working there, there's a different energy consumption and a different working space, different sleeping, because some things you can just sacrifice when you are doing the weekend journey, and you can just take some stuff for 2 days or 3 days or something. While you're full-time working there, you have to have food for at least a week. You have to have a lot of energy to work there with your laptops. Of course, you need to take into consideration how much electronic devices you're going to use. So, building your expectations and getting closer to reality, just consider what are you going to do in the van. In our case, we're going to live full-time, and I will start with calculating your budget, because the pieces of the pie will go to different sectors of your van. Some things are just so important that you cannot miss, and some things you need to consider that you're going to upgrade later. I would not consider our van as a really budget one, but not a luxury as well. I saw a lot of luxury van builds. It depends what do you think what is luxury, but for me, I think we are kind of in the middle of those two categories. Our budget for a van was 25,000 euros, and while planning anything what is construction is the same rule. Leave some space for unexpected budget. So I would say 30 or 20% will always go to unexpected purchases. From that 25k, 15k was for the van itself, to make it reliable and the thing we can trust our lives to be in. And the other 10k was allocated to electricity, cooking, sleeping, walls, warmth, and etc. Right, so speaking about electricity first, and I'm speaking about it because I think the working and having steady income is very important while you're van lifing, and we have a few side hustles and a few jobs that we can do constantly, and need to take into consideration the amount of power do you need. Check your computers. of course, other stuff, what's going also while you're working. Fridge is always on, and lights, phones, and inverter. It always takes some energy while it's just working. So in our case, my computer soaks a lot of power. It's 300 something watts, and Vicky's computer is not more than 200. So average wattage of our system, it's around 500. We are going to put 600 watts of solar power on the roof, and we will have 400 amp hours of batteries. We just counted how much on average we work, and it's 6, maybe 7 hours tops. So that's why I chose 400 amp hours, and I want to be able to work for that amount of time every day. Of course, if it's impossible, I will just skip a few days, but you need to do your own math, how much electronic devices you are using. Batteries for 400 amp hours, we paid 1,400 euros. It's kind of a good deal, and I heard that a few years ago it was a lot more expensive, but now the technology let us buy more energy. We are going to use 2,000 watts inverter because we are not going to build any electric stove or cooking devices. We are not using the fan, hair dryer, or something else what's taking tons of power. It's mostly our computers and small electronic devices like camera equipment, drone, phones, etc. Lights. Also, talking about the electricity, we are going to use DC to DC chargers, so the alternator on our car going to constantly charge our batteries. So we choose to take the Victron one because it's the most reliable. I cannot say that it's the best, but the people are having the best opinions on this. It's kind of investment into the future, and all of our system is Victron except the inverter. For inverter we left some space to improve because the best Victron inverter is like 1,000 plus euros, and for now we chose Rhenology 2000 watts. For a solar panel we chose MPPT 150 because it can handle up to 700 watts of solar power, and it's also the thing to upgrade into the future. The last thing that's need to take into consideration all the connections and the smart shunt. You need to monitor your battery performance and the charging power, the maximum capacity of the batteries, etc. So this is the things you need 100%, and there's other stuff to monitor your all electricity consumption, but we just skipped for now. Maybe we're going to upgrade later. I will show you some examples how the old system works of the other people who used this, and we just kind of completed ourselves. To sum up, our electricity costs about 2,100 euros. It's 1,400 for batteries and 700 for other parts. If the company has something with RV or camper, keep in mind that they will charge you twice or 3 times more than usual. Windows was our unexpected budget spending because the skylight is like 700 euros and the max fan is 400 euros. Luckily for us, we had a exposition sale shop, and we paid 700 for MIDI Heki and a max fan. It makes 400 for MIDI Heki skylight and 300 for a max fan. I would say it's a good deal. And also side windows are not opening or closing, they are cheap, and you can buy them for 70-80 euros. Just keep in mind to buy them not in RV shops, just in a basic car repair glass companies or something like that. So just in total for windows we spent about 1000 euros. The next topic I would like to pick is cooking, because for us cooking is very important and we like to eat healthy and we like to make it ourselves. So we choose to use propane for our stove because we can use it many times and we don't have to consider many kilowatts of hours, because those hours are allocated for working and other stuff. Usually those cooking stoves, electric ones, they just take 2 kilowatts of power and you just soak your energy really fast. For weekend journeys it works, but for us we chose propane. Also, there's a lot of fridges which are opening from top side. We just didn't want to use those. We chose the fridge which is opening from a side, and we just needed a little bigger than 50 liters. I saw that 50 liters are pretty popular, but for me it just looks too small, and we went with 75 liters. I didn't order it yet because it's quite difficult to ship it to my country, but we will do it later. So we went with different compartments, fridge, freezer, because every time you open your fridge you just get all the cold air out. So I think it's very useful to have different compartments. Also 75 liters, it's around the space of food we are going to eat in around a week. We decided to put the propane under our car. I'm not really sure how it exactly fits, but I was under the car and I saw some empty spaces. I just have to make a research where is the best place to do it. But mainly for the space and for the electricity reasons, we decided to go with propane. I consider it quite safe while it's not inside of your van. Talking about the oven and the stove, I want it to be this one unit, to have just one connection to a propane, to not use any other pipelines, to make it as minimal as possible. This stove oven costs 700 euros, and the fridge I was talking about costs 700 euros as well. Now it's about the workspace and sleeping. So we decided with this electric bed, we are planning quite a big table so we can fit both of the computers and all the other equipment we're going to use, like an extra monitor. I like to have a spacious table because we are not just working there, we're also eating there and just having a free time. In this area we're going to spend a lot of time, so it's really important to make it as comfortable and counted as possible. For the electric bed, the main component is the linear electric accelerators. If I'm telling this properly, we spent around 80 euros on one, so you need 4 of those. The build of your bed, it's also going to be dependent what materials you use, but we're planning to use just wood for the weight. And I cannot comment more before I did all the build. For the bottom table and all the sitting compartments, we just need a plywood, and it also depends on your shops around you which selling those. They don't cost a lot, but it's all about your time and your craftiness. If you can make it as smooth and as functional as you want. So the main part that you have to buy for this table is if you want it to change your position to make it lower or upper. Also, if you want your table to extend to make it more comfortable to work or to do something else, it's also extra expenses. And I would say for a working zone we are going to spend around 500 euros, but we're going to post exact expenses while we already finished with it. Okay, the next step I'm going to talk is about the heating, and the most popular way to heat your van is to put a diesel heater. We are also putting it, and there's two options: the original one, which costs around 1000, knockoff version Chinese one, we are going to buy it for around 200 euros. I heard it's reliable, people are using and not complaining too much about it. It's quite a good rating, and not many bad reviews, so I will trust it. And of course we need to count our money. We are going to try, and you can learn from our mistakes maybe. This diesel heater may also heat your water system. Sometimes they are connecting into the same system. While you're heating air, it also heats the water tank, and you have a hot water. So I saw some people are using this bobble build something. It costs around 300 euros, but it's without anything else attached. You need also the compartment to store all the water. It may cost around 1000 euros for all system of your plumbing to get the hot water into your shower and sink. While talking about the water system, I need to mention that the sink 50 by 50 centimeters costs around 150 euros, and the crane for the sink in a kitchen and the crane for a shower, it depends how much you want to spend on it, but it's around 150 euros each. Talking about an unexpected expenses, you know, this sliding doors which clean itself. I checked some companies in Europe, and it costs around 300 euros just for the door. So some things just comes unexpected. This is the 20% I was talking about. To pay that much money for the doors is, for me, it's a lot. Let's say like this. The parts which we don't know right now, it's the bottom of the shower where all the water is going down to the drainage system. We need to buy this compartment, and it's not really custom compartments. It's usually squares or this old school triangle ones. We'll see how it goes, but for now we didn't find anything which fits our measurements. Taking into consideration all the build, all the sealing, anti-rust paint, screws, construction details, it may cost around 500 euros for everything. Why it's so much? It's because if you're going to put some windows, you're gonna need some pretty specific stuff, like for a rooftop or max fan you need this connector, which we didn't use, but still we bought this butyl material to even the surface, and they have to be ultra sealing to not get any drop of the water inside of your van, so you need to trust it, so you have to choose the best ones. This makes this amount of money, and the things I forgot I will write it in subtitles. This is not counting our work time. Keep in mind that if you're building your van yourself, you need to consider your time as some kind of a budget. It always gets a lot more expensive while you give something to put attention of other people. If you use any services, they will cost a lot. So in my case, I like to learn stuff. We like to just watch videos step-by-step ones how to do something, and I think everything is possible. Just need a little time to learn. Of course we may do a lot of mistakes, but it's also the part of the process, and I'm not really stressing about it too much. While you have a good place, good people around you, while you have your dream coming true without any expectations attached, it always works well, I believe. When you have everything planned on your budget, you have all your needs, all your working space, sleeping, eating, showering, hygiene, and compartments to store all of your stuff. You can start building a plan. How are you going to insert everything into your van? In my case, I believe it's the most important part to do the 3D model of your van and your build in some program. I used Van Space 3D. In my research, it's the best to start with the exterior, to drill all the holes and to do everything from outside and then go inside, because while you finish with your outside, the weather is not that scary. You can do whatever you want inside. And in our case, we started to work at summer and we want to leave the last parts for the colder months. So we are started with the skylight and the max fan. Now we are going to work with the solar panels, also with the other windows which we are going to put inside the van. After the all windows and the all exterior, we are going to clean everything, preparing the van for a long life, to prevent all the rust and all the holes which I showed you in previous video. It's very important. So this is the next step after the exterior. It's really tested and it works to isolate the sound from outside, because you are in a metal box which vibrates. These stickers with aluminum, they just decrease the volume of whatever is going on outside. I think it's very important and we're also going to do it. After this, we are going to put the isolation. Before the electricity, we're going to put the first layer of the floor part, just to walk there and to not have issues while working inside. After the isolation of the walls, we're gonna start our all electricity system, all the wiring, where we need all the electricity plugs, charging cables, max fans, lightning, whatever. After electricity, we're gonna start building our kitchen compartment and also the bathroom compartment, which will also going to be our shower. We're going to put the ceiling while we are working with the furniture. Electric bed system after we make a first layer of furniture where we sit in the working zone and a dinner table. Take this into consideration. Where are you building? Having a space where you can take your time and enjoy, where you have access to tool renting places, or you just have fun shopping and meeting people who are happy to help you. This is everything I wanted to share. I will add some subtitles if I made a mistakes. Keep in mind that this is based on my research and my favorite bloggers. Make your own plan and just consider others as examples how it may look and how it may be for you. Thank you for watching and see you next time with Max Fan.